Many other students like me, also scholars, their future is in the hands of Japan. So they are eagerly waiting to get there. And I hope Japanese government have done a very good job in past regarding these matters, because Japan has such a good international reputation. So I hope they will not disappoint us. And I'm very hopeful still now they will give us an opportunity to enter the country, obeying all the restrictions and measures. That's all.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Davide, and today I have another story to share with you. I'm here with Kaushik from Kolkata, India. Kaushik received a job in March 2020, over a year ago. However, he's still unemployed now and still not able to enter Japan. Hi, Kaushik. Could you please introduce yourself?
I'm from Kolkata, India, and I completed my Doctor of Philosophy Technology degree from the University of Calcutta in my city, Kolkata, India. And after completion of my doctoral degree, I started applying for postdoctoral research positions all around the world. And eventually, last year, in the 2020, I got a postdoctoral position in Japan by an institute in Japan. And it was scheduled to join there in March, end of March 2020, maybe beginning of the April last year. And unfortunately, during that time, the pandemic hits globally. And suddenly the international passenger flight operations, travel restrictions, everything started happening. So my plan to go to Japan was stopped, unfortunately. And I'm still in the process of contacting my employer or my supervisor. But unfortunately, due to the travel ban and restrictions imposed by the government of that country, I wasn't able to, not go to Japan. And still in very, very troubled situation, because I have been unemployed for more than a year now. So it is very, very difficult for me to survive or cover my living costs here in my country, because whatever I am doing, actually, I have little savings. So I am taking money from that and start living my life, in a very restrictive way. You can understand what I say. So in brief, this is my story. It is a very tough time for me, especially financially as well as from my career point of view. And most importantly, my future career is in the hand of Japanese government. If Japan doesn't open border, maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 months or later, it is very, very difficult for me to stay focused. I have been already staying focused for long time now, but I don't know what will happen. It makes me sometimes upset, worried, and anxious also. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, and I think everyone listening to you can feel how difficult it is to wait for over a year, not being able to work because you have already an employer, you have already got the job you wanted, and not have any information on when you're going to be able to start working, when you're going to be able to move to the country you got the job. There is no information whatsoever. What can you do in order to be eligible to come to Japan? Should I take a vaccine? Should I do quarantine? At least this, it's a plan, but you don't have this plan. And it's more than 1 year now that you're waiting. What your employer is telling you, what your Japanese employer is telling you, did they give you any information, anything you should do right now?
Actually, I contacted my, supervisor, postdoctoral supervisor, professor there, and he told me that regarding the COE, I contacted him. I got the COE actually last year, but the validity of the COE was expired. So I sent the COE back to him, and he told me that he will get in touch with the office, related office, and once he hears back from them, whatever the office told him, then he will communicate to me regarding the COE. Because as we all know, in order to apply for Japan visa, everyone needs to apply for with a COE, they need to apply for a visa. Without COE, we can't apply for Japan visa, especially for work visa. So, that's how the situation is. But he also assured me that don't worry, please be patient for a while. And I am thinking that, what does it mean for a while? This sentence, is very confusing at the moment. We don't know, maybe next month, maybe 2 or 3 months later, maybe the end of the year. It is a waiting game, kind of waiting game, and it is becoming very tough. I think it is tough for me, and I don't think it is only for me. There are many others who are also going through this difficult situation.
Yes, and it's insane that it's for so long. It's not 1 day, it's not 1 week, it's not 1 month. It's more than 1 year. You spend every day trying to get some news, but nothing comes up. I understand. One thing I think it's very important also is that you, like every other international student or worker, researcher, it's 100% willing to follow every measure to avoid the spread of coronavirus. So you are okay, of course, to be tested before leaving your country. When you arrive in Japan, you are okay, of course, to do 14 days quarantine, which basically erase any possible risk because they will keep checking you. And after 14 days, if you are still negative, of course, you don't have the virus. You don't bring any virus. It's not that you arrive in Japan and then you go out partying from the first day, you go to restaurant. It's not like that. You're going to follow all the rules. Is it right?
Yeah. I think not me. I think all other international students or scholars, I think they all will willing to obey these measures or restrictions imposed by the Japanese government. If Japan opens the border, I will fully obey their rules and regulations regarding the, pandemic.
Of course. And so what do you expect the Japanese government to do in the next weeks or the next month? What do you expect them to do for you or for the other international students and workers that right now cannot enter Japan?
I think hopefully Olympic will take place in Japan. So far I have been hearing about, I don't know the final decision what would happen, but so far I've been hearing that Olympic will take place. So I think if the Olympic athletes and players get into the country, then please, my earnest request to Japanese government, please let us in. That's all I can say. I can only request and pray and hope for the good to happen. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Could you tell us a bit more about what is your field and what you are planning to do in Japan?
Yes, actually my doctoral degree was in the area of photonics. Optics and Photonics, Applied Optics and Photonics, which I completed in my home country. And in the postdoctoral research, the topic is the same. It is in Japanese institute. So after my postdoctoral research position will be of 2 years of contract. I will have to spend 2 years in Japan in that institute. And after completion of that contract, my plan is to try for more jobs in Japan. And if I get an opportunity in Japan, I would like to stay or spend rest of my life in that country. And I would like also to contribute to the development of the economy of that country. That's my aim. As a scientist, future scientist, I can also say that.
What you specifically, because of course, I don't know much about photonics, as you can imagine, what you specifically can achieve with your research in Japan. What kind of results can you bring to the country, but also to the world? Because I think this study is not just for one country, but it's for all of us.
Yes, actually, my topic is related to the detection of different kind of chemical and biological samples, which also includes detection of pathogens or bacteria. So right now we are living in the world full of pathogens and bacteria, as COVID-19. So I think my research will be very impactful in terms of detection pathogens or viruses point of view. So in simple words, I can say that.
Okay, thank you very much for making it easy to understand for everyone. Yes. I think if I understood, everyone understood what is this about.
Hopefully.
I think like you, Kaushik, there are so many other international students that are in a very similar situation. And everything that you are asking is to basically treat you the same as for example, they're treating now Olympic athletes. So having the possibility to enter Japan following 100% the rules and making it safe, of course, for you to come to Japan and also be able to continue your life. Because if you cannot enter Japan, you basically are unemployed. You have a contract that started last year. Of course, at the beginning, because of the pandemic, it was understandable you couldn't enter. But now that there is a procedure in place, now that they can check with a PCR test before and after arriving in the country if you bring in the virus or not, now I think it's perfectly safe for you to come. And the government should really understand that and let you and the other student the possibility to enter Japan. So thank you very much for sharing your story. And we really hope to see you in Japan soon.
Yes, and I also would like to hear from you because I always follow you in YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. You always do a very good job of posting updates regarding entry into Japan. So if you get any update regarding the entry into Japan, please post this online materials, and we would like to happy to see those things. You have been doing a very good job for us.
Of course. That's my mission right now. So that's everything what I care about, to be honest, because I've just, I've been in contact with students for so long, and I've received a lot of emails and stories in the past months, and it's really heartbreaking to hear how many lives now are pending, how difficult it for many of you to live with your saving without being able to start your study or your work, or even being separated by your family. So I will do everything I can to share information, and also to let as many people as possible to know, because I think if we all together tell our stories, eventually people that can take a decision will understand, and we will see all of you in Japan.
Because many other students like me, also scholars, their future is in the hands of Japan. So they are eagerly waiting to get there. And I hope Japanese government have done a very good job in past regarding these matters, because Japan has such a good international reputation. So I hope they will not disappoint us. And I'm very hopeful still now they will give us an opportunity to enter the country, obeying all the restrictions and measures. That's all. Thank you.
I still have the same hope, Kaushik. Thank you very much for sharing it.
Welcome.
Thank you.